So we got the transmission out and we got a replacement.
I'll take the blame on that one.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this week's episode, we're gonna be hammering back down on the Travelall. We have a bunch of stuff to do with only 1 week left to get out to Kentucky. We're gonna be buttoning up that interior. We got a full Rockford Fosgate system going in it. We got a bunch of things left to do in the engine compartment. We're still trying to sort out the transmission clutch situation. And to get this thing roadworthy, we still have to put in that windshield. So the existing windshield was pretty cracked. It was rusty and crusty. I was able to source one. The glass in this thing is actually impossible to find. I bought all new gaskets for all this glass, but I was recommended to not touch it because if this breaks, I'm screwed. So here we got a brand new windshield, new gasket. Our boys from City Auto Glass. Hi guys.
Hello.
So now that this is going in, I think we're gonna be able to take a ride at some point this weekend. Fingers are crossed. All right, so Mike has come up with a solution for our crusty gaskets. As you see, there's a huge gap here. This whole gasket really needs to be replaced. I have it, but I'm just leery about taking this out because if it breaks, I'm kind of screwed. So Mike's got some urethane caulking. He's gonna fill that little void here, a couple little places. That way we just don't get rain going in there and causing damage down the road.
What it does when you spray the water, it makes it tack free, so you can kind of manipulate it around a little bit.
Beautiful.
Bada bang.
All right, the last episode, you guys saw us put the TMI bench seats in the Travelall. We built these awesome stands to get everything mounted at the correct height and nice and level. However, we didn't get a chance to actually bolt them into the truck. So we got our holes drilled through the floor pan. Now, that is not gonna be enough because God forbid there's ever some kind of impact or an accident, your bolts will just rip through the 16 gauge and your seat will go flying and cause you to also go flying. So what I'm gonna do is cut a heavy duty angle, weld it to the frame, and then I'm gonna through bolt the whole thing through this angle. So that way, if God forbid there's an accident, these bolts won't rip right through. I was planning on going from the inside of this rocker to the frame. Timmy told me not a good option because the body, the cab, and everything are rubber mounted to the frame. So if you hard weld both sides, it's gonna be an issue down the road. So I ended up cutting it down, adding this lateral gusset. So we'll be able to get a little weld around here. Up here, we'll get a little bead, and it should hold real nice. So now that we got our bench seats mounted up, it's time to add our Simpson Lap Belts. We got these eye bolts into the ground at a 45-degree angle. You can do 45 to 60 degrees. So we're gonna just through bolt these through the floor, add some heavy-duty washers on the bottom side, and these things snap right in. So super easy to install. We should be safe on our way to LS Fest. The interior is coming together. We're gonna add some interior lights underneath the dash over here. So we're gonna make a couple little tabs so we can mount these. We also have one in the engine compartment inside of there. So that'll glow up nice at night. Here you go, buddy. Here's your little brackets. While Sean is mounting and wiring up the LED lights on the interior, I'm gonna jump back over to that cargo area because I got one more little thing to finish up in this interior. That way it is looking fresh for LS Fest. So I got some wood here. I got these off a job like 5 years ago. They've been sitting up in the rafters for a while. I've been saving these for a project and it's gonna go back here. So I already kind of got some 2x4s laid in there. I'm gonna stand them up so I can kind of cover up most of this. These fuel lines that stick up pretty high. I may put it on some shocks so it could open like a hood, but for now, I'm just basically gonna frame this out and then I'm gonna go ahead and attach the wood to it. 4:15 in the morning, I've already cut myself. Have you ever been driving a freaking screw in with a Phillips tip and it slip and you hit your finger? Man, that hurts, boy. Man, what a way to start the day. I swear, every build that I've ever built here has my blood in it somewhere. Now we got all our boards in place. Now comes the fun part. Basically what you got, I'm gonna lay my wood here. I got this little doohickey that I can get a radius. I'm gonna lay it all out, then I'll take it back over to that table and cut her down. We got our first side piece cut. Got our wheel well there. This could have been a little tighter, but no matter what happens, there's gonna be an amp rack here. If this was gonna be exposed, I'd probably recut this piece. But overall, it's a good fit. So now we're gonna do the same thing to the other side. That looks about right. Measure twice, cut once. All right, there you go. Our next step is to run these boards through the planer. They're pretty bowed. So I got a Bali planer here. Just gonna lower it down and take off a little bit at a time. That's a whole lot of sawdust, man. We got the fitment all in, everything's looking good. Our front pieces are glued on and nailed. Next step, take the whole assembly out, put a couple coats of gloss. We got all the woodwork done in the back, but before we continue hammering down the interior, we need to do a quick sponsor break. NordVPN is a virtual private network that helps you keep your internet activity safe. Using the private browsing mode on your internet browser might be alright for hiding the latest car part purchase from your wife, but it doesn't cut it when it comes to keeping your data safe from everyone else. NordVPN has a network of over 5,400 private servers that you can use to keep your confidential info safe from companies trying to mine and sell your data. Nord even allows you to browse the web securely from even more riskier locations like coffee shops and airports. Their cybersecurity suite even acts as an ad blocker. So once you do securely purchase that new exhaust system, you're not bombarded with muffler ad after muffler ad because someone was tracking and selling your search history to some internet company. And if all that security wasn't enough, NordVPN also helps you unlock regionally blocked content. So if your favorite European car show is available on Netflix everywhere but your country, NordVPN helps you gain access to all of that content. Even if after hearing all this, you're still unsure if NordVPN is right for you, they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. So make sure you click the link in our description below, check out NordVPN, keep your information safe from hackers and data trackers. All right, so one of the last little items that we're gonna be getting on in the Travelall starts today, and that's a radio. Gotta have some tunes for that long trip to Bowling Green, Kentucky. We got a full Rockford Fosgate system going in the Travelall. We got 210s, we got a big amp, 6-inch component speakers with tweeters, and I have another set of tweeters to go somewhere in the back. I've already made up our kicker panels for our front, right and left side. Boom. I'm gonna get these sanded down, get these fit into the truck, put some riv nuts, that way we could fasten these in. I still have to put another hole here for our speaker, like so. And we'll be able to get these into the truck today. I got our buddy Patrick, who is actually one of the area reps for Fosgate. He's coming to the shop today to help me fabricate up some speaker boxes and our amp rack panel. So that's the goal. Got my driver's side kicker panel installed. looking pretty good. I kind of wanted to test fit it before I went any further with the other side. I ended up just painting it for now. I was gonna try to wrap it with the leather to match the bench, but it definitely would need some sewing done, and I am no seamstress, so looks pretty good for now. I got my tweeter down here, got my spot for my speaker put in. Everything fits pretty good, so now I'm gonna go ahead to the other side and get that one put in and continue this process. We just got our Rockford Fosgate Bluetooth receiver. I'm gonna make a panel to attach to the inside of our dash. All right, there you have it. All that work for that little bit of payoff. Now our Rockford Fosgate Bluetooth receiver, be able to mount up nice and tight in the glove compartment. I'm just gonna squirt this with a little gloss black and get her in.
Mike just finished fabbing and painting up this bracket that we're using to mount the Bluetooth media receiver. Just went ahead and wired in the little jumper harness they have here. Now I got constant power, my switch power, and also we ran our cables for our subwoofer RCAs, and somehow we seem to have forgot the RCA for the speakers. So this one is kind of just hanging out right here now until I tuck it and hide it away. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get Patrick over here to get the amps, so we are sub-boxless at the moment. We do have a box made for our amplifier to be mounted onto. I've got all the power wires ran to it, as well as the RCA for the front speakers. So we should at this moment be ready to go to test it out to make sure it's all good. All right, so I'm going to hook this thing up, Bluetooth on, Rockford Fosgate, PMX0. It's lit up, so that's good. Connected. Bluetooth connected.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Licensed content only.
Oh,
guys.
well, you didn't want to hear the Jeezy?
I want to hear the Jeezy, believe me. But YouTube's licensing restrictions do not.
All right, media guy, work the media receiver. He said, meh. Crank it up. Hey, she running. All right, so that's just the front speaker, so all you're hearing is a lot of highs and tick, 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 tick. No boom yet. No. As soon as we finish up the subwoofer box, we can get that installed. And I don't even know if Mike is putting in rear speakers. I think it might just be the fronts for now. I don't know either, but
they work.
They work. That seems pretty good to me. All right, so with the audio stuff semi-completed, we still need to continue on. Still have a lot of stuff to do, so we're kind of touching everything at the same time. Mike's gonna go underneath the truck and start prepping some of the transmission work that we have to do.
All right, we got all the loose ends taken care of up in the engine compartment. We got Frankie here. Remember Frankie Fiberglass? We're gonna give this puppy an oil change, even though the oil's brand new. As you guys saw 2 episodes ago, we had that issue with the clearance on the rockers. Just in case any of those aluminum fragments got into the motor, we're gonna go ahead and inspect the oil and make sure it's not contaminated. New oil's coming out, newer oil's going in. The other item at task today is our Withc transmission CAGs and reverse lockout delete kit. So we got 2 sensors to pull out of our transmission. This is our CAG here, and that's our lockout. So we gotta remove these, and then you put this plug in and that cap. James from Withc just sent this out to us. Hot mail, man. We just watched your YouTube on how to do this, so if you don't know something, go to YouTube. James from Withc's got a good YouTube channel. He gives you step-by-step instructions. We were unsuccessful trying to get the reverse lockout sensor from down there. So luckily, we made this panel on our transmission tunnel removable. Got Frankie underneath the truck with his Hulk Hogan hands, managed to get it off. Basically, it's like a plug. So it is officially on its way to be deleted.
All right,
Hey, Frank.
Tag delete.
We got the reverse lockout delete and the CAG delete done. It's time to fill our transmission with fluid. On the TR6060, we have our fill plug over here. We already got it out. So you got to get yourself one of these things. You got to get a pumper. What's going on, Andrew? What's the issue, bro?
All right, so I was bleeding the clutch. As soon as we got pressure in the line, it started leaking out of our slave cylinder. You could see down here all the oil dripping. So it either overextended and pushed out the seal, or the seal was already bad, and once we started using it, it just leaked.
You win some, you lose some.
So we got the transmission out, and I'll show you here just a second what I found. What you can see is our piston travel went past its allowed maximum. So what you can see here is the seal that's going to hold in all the fluid, and it came out of the bore. So it extended too far, meaning we didn't have the amount of spacing that we needed to push the slave cylinder towards the pressure plate. So finally, our Tilton hydraulic release bearing has arrived.
All right.
Yeah, so now we won't have to guess on shim sizing and everything. We'll just take our measurements, adjust the bearing to the depth that we need it, and we'll be good to go.
Hindsight, we should have just got this to begin with.
That's what happens when you try to cut corners, save money.
I'll take the blame on that one. Shout out to our friends at Bowler for sending that out on an overnight delivery.
Ready to go.
All right, throw it in. Let's go.
And from this point, I'll know how much my clutch assembly meets into here. Then I can adjust our bearing outwards towards the block and find that 100 thousandths air gap that we were looking for. So I've got my measurement from my block bell housing surface area to the fingers here, and we have 3.425. So 3.425 is the overall depth that the whole clutch assembly is going to be into the housing. Now I can just measure from the face of the bell housing mounting area to the release bearings. So what I have here is a straight edge that I'm just going to use my depth gauge on my micrometer here and set my depth. Then we'll just lock it down. Over here we have these anti-roll pins. So it's like a locking pin that we're going to go through right here on the side of the bearing to keep it from rolling or changing any of the depth. I'm gonna take my final measurement, check it twice, maybe 3 times, make sure it's right, because we don't want to have any kind of failure again. Then we should be good to go. Then we'll be able to add fluid and rebleed the system. We should be 100% on with what we need for clearance. Got our anti-roll pin set on here for the rotating collar, so we don't have this thing walking in or out. Now it's time to just put it back up inside the Travelall.
We got an ongoing problem with this TR6060, and we are just gonna go ahead and wave our white flag. We took that puppy out and we got a replacement. So this is a T56. The biggest issue is our input shaft. So that input shaft and this input shaft, as you see, are very different. So this has this area right here where there's no spline, and that's the problem. So we weren't engaging all the way into our friction plate, and it was making a crazy noise. So there she's gonna sit. We're gonna throw this guy in. I'm not gonna say it, but I'm gonna pray. So let's see what we can do, man. We already have our bell housing mounted up to our motor. So he's gonna take a couple measurements here. Then we can put our slave cylinder back on. Go like this and start her up. Just like that.
Easy peasy.
Hey yo, why isn't this running? Andrew, I thought you were putting the new transmission in, man. We gotta get this thing running. The episode goes.
Busting my balls, dude.
The episode goes out in like 12 hours.
All right,
Yeah.
cool, man. Well, we're still having transmission issues, unfortunately. I would love to have this on the road, but it's not happening. We ordered the wrong clutch, and then we tried to save it by getting an adjustable throwout bearing. That didn't work. So now we're gonna move on to trying to throw a different transmission in. We scrapped the TR6060 for a T56 that we found locally from a buddy. We got a different slave cylinder here. That one didn't work. We tried a third slave cylinder. That didn't work. We're still at the wrong height. So we ended up going with a different clutch. We're gonna use the T56 transmission, and we're getting rid of our original twin disc clutch. We're gonna put a single disc clutch in it. Should have a shorter stack. As soon as that gets here, we'll hopefully be able to start using the adjustable bearing that we originally had and hope that it all works out. This is kind of our Hail Mary for getting this thing to drive and do burnouts when we go to LS Fest. Hopefully we're gonna be doing burnouts, but if not, I'm gonna be drifting the Z. I'm definitely gonna be competing in the top 32 competition. It's been a few years since I've competed, so I'm really excited to get out there again and drive with all the talented people out there, meet a bunch of new people, see all the guys from Holly, and enjoy all the automotive stuff that's gonna be going on there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification. You know, I got my words confused, so peace.
Learn from the pros. Don't be don't. Yeah, Kyle, delete that.
I am going to rip my pants. Damn it. That stupid latch just caught my pants and ripped it.